Nice. He knows how to shoot. All right, sign her up.
Say what?
So as I walk up to the door, I get my dispatch. The door's ajar, and I hear an army. Police department! Police department! King 2030, I got an army inside, start me that name. Police department! Drop the weapon! Oh, that was right on point. Hey,
Because you had to make a decision.
now let me show you something as it opens up.
Right before you got hit.
And that's because of sympathetic reflex, because his finger was still on the trigger. I'm going to just bring it up and pause it on my right before the shot attack. Did you hear or see the baby?
No.
You didn't hear or see a baby?
No.
Okay, well there's a baby right on the counter.
Ah.
Oh, okay. And if you listen to the audio, it's crying. Okay, what we happen is, this is a very powerful scenario that I run media through and community teams through because they don't understand the decisions and how fast the officers have to deal with this. This is called a crisis entry. When this officer steps into this, based on the radio communication, 911 hang up, listening to the threat before at the door, you step in. This is what I see. I have a suspect holding a female at gunpoint, finger on the trigger. There's a baby in the background, baby's crying. This is what I have.
Right.
I have to decide what to do instantly. I can headshot, body shot, talk to him. There's all kinds of options. What I chose to do on this is I just took a shot into the body. And what happened is when I hit center mass, where most officers are taught to shoot, since the gun was pointing at his head and the finger was on the trigger, it caused a sympathetic reflex response.
To blow her head off.
Okay, so show the shot right here as he turns. Now, if I would have shot him in the head or the base and did more go for the central nervous system, then he wouldn't have had a sympathetic reflex response. I'm just letting you know this is all built into this one scenario. Now, you have to watch your backdrop because if these rounds go through, where are they going to go into?
To the baby.
Into the baby. We're accountable for all of our rounds.
Yeah.
If you shoot him in the head, I have him fall forward. And officers get in a bad habit of tracking down. If they track down, they'll track rounds down through the baby. Because why don't we hear the baby when we step into this and see this all of a sudden? Why don't we hear it?
You're focused on the shooter.
It's called audio exclusion. You know that fear response I talked about?
Yes.
When your body is shutting off your ears because it doesn't need it. It doesn't need it to survive this incident. So we have to teach officers how to be, if they're more calm and prepared, they'll be using their hearing more. When you're startled or you have to deal with a life and death situation, you'll get what we call, it's called focused attention, but they call it tunnel vision.
Right.
And audio exclusion. So you only see the gun or you only see that one thing and you don't see what's around you. Officers are accountable. You think if I shot here and I successfully took down the suspect but my round went in and killed the baby, I have to live with that the rest of my life.
Right.
As a police officer.
And then, like, the decision you've made, like you said, you made the decision of shooting, but his gun jerked and blowed her head off.
Now, if I would have started, sir, put down the gun. You don't want to do this. If I started a verbal, like what we call crisis negotiation,
Yes.
Zach can have a lot of responses to me. And then one of the responses can be, as he's talking to me, he moves the gun away from her forehead and goes, well, what do you know, and as soon as I see the gun move away from her forehead, that might be an opportunity for me to shoot.
For you. Yeah.
All these little things are embedded into this piece of content. No right or wrong. We don't build content for right or wrong or to push tactics. It's there. How the officers train on it and use it, depending on their department policies and stuff,
Yes.
we give them this situation.
Yes.
So just think if this officer ran this situation 100 times. So now, when it's that officer's, her first time or his first time stepping into a domestic violence situation like this, they are going to be better prepared to deal with it.
Yes.
Because they're going to fall back on their training. Okay.
They're not going to put
They
the
don't have to
baby
process
over in
this for the
jeopardy.
first time,
Yeah.
right? They're going to be able to handle it. You know, so all that is in there. Just think how fast these officers
You can love the streets, but the streets don't love you back. You can love the streets, but the streets don't love you back. You can love the streets, but the streets don't love you back. You can love the streets, but the streets don't love you back. You can love the streets, but the streets don't love you back. A lot of homies dead and gone. Thought the streets would love them back. I got homies in the pen never see again, cause they live by code. Always keep your mouth closed. In the streets, they be